hit them better than
Whoa.
most others.
No. Only one of them hits the sticks, and that's Jukain, right? Both these characters have seen their metas thrive, but Jaglum, or Ziglet as he's maybe better known, has no sticks on his controller. This man is a box Kazuya. You thought $5.99 was for DLC? No. This character is $299 DLC.
Hey, you love to see it. Let me tell you, as someone who's messed around with that box, it can feel nice with a character like Kazuya. I think the box does a really good job of allowing access to tech, but it does feel a little bit restraining for movement, but at the same time, who needs movement when you got tech like that?
Absolutely, right? The 0 to death, the Ferps tech to boot, just not even giving Jukain a chance to get his own combo started, right? Peach, very capable of finding these 0 to hundreds and 0 to death, those micro spacings on float, but the anti-airs between that God Fist, between that frame 4 up air from Kazuya can just be so scary to deal with.
I love the usage of down tilt right here from Jukain, because of course you brought up the that electric wind God Fist. It has full invulnerability on the top. That's the thing, those legs are still active, and the use of that down tilt as a spacing tool, and then it pops into these beautiful conversions that we've seen Jukain already show off in this game.
Yep, and as you said, right, that down tilt as well, when you space it right, not only do you get down low, you swing out, and a lot of characters with low crouches or who can hurt puck shift like that can get under Kazuya's highs, whether it's God Fist, Twin Pistons, whatever it might be, because they don't, all of Kazuya's moves are kind of split into highs and lows, right, which hit one set of space and not the other. They're very strong, but they are also a little bit of a vertical commitment. Great tech on the platform to avoid that F smash. Jukain managing to find a way out of dodge, back on the percent, bring it back, but it's just gonna be that dragon uppercut to close it out. Jaglum, Ziglet just keeping it going, and the grab to get the next extension.
And no follow-up off the Nair, sadly, for Jaglum. I will say, I think if Jukain keeps utilizing these down tilts as they have, in combination, in tandem with those turn-ups, to create a space that Jaglum feels unsafe in, and then even if they do get up close to Jukain, boom, that down tilt pops. We're gonna need to start seeing a little bit more of the spin kicks come out from Jaglum. They'll try to punish and decentivize those down tilts.
And what's a really interesting adjustment from Jukain, we're seeing just a very grounded set of Peach play, right? Other than the occasional floats at the mid-range just to bait the commitment from Jaglum, we're actually just seeing Jukain play very grounded, play off these rolls, these dash attacks, rather than float for the most part, in order to just, like, force the commitment, keep your options open. It's a really smart piece of work, and it's what's really allowed this corner situation to take shape.
100%, and look at that, 136% on Jaglum. This is going a little bit scary, and that down tilt to up air, not quite going to do it. And that is the thing, you got a character as heavy as Kazuya, all of a sudden it's a lot harder to kill. That amount of rage, thankfully for Jukain, these punishes are not going to come as easy, but all the same, one more electric.
Yeah, and what happened, right, was that second up air on the chase, Jukain didn't respect that Kazuya's down air is basically a sword, or could have maybe fallen down, grabbed a turnip, reset, kept Jaglum in the corner and caught the landing, but instead just, right, trying for the aggressive option, and it resulted in getting put in, getting reversal, getting put in disadvantage, and then it was just Kazuya being able to trap Jukain's landings over at the stage, right? That float got exhausted early, and without it, it's just hard for Pete, with as floaty as she is, to mix that recovery up. Now opting for a little bit less space on than PS2 over here on small battlefield, just trying to keep it cooking.
And I think the beautiful idea within this pick is all of a sudden you brought that stage a lot closer in, and so those platforms are covering a wider percentage of the stage in comparison to PS2, and so you're going to have a lot more area to run away. Pulls the dot base and gets the Nair. Look at this. This damage output already is doing phenomenal for Jukain.
Yep, and looking for the looking for those pistons right on that 1, 2, 3, instead just finding the first 3 hits and jab, a little bit of a tech execution from Jaglum there. The Peach Bomber from Jukain trying to keep the situation going on, swinging the crown, but it's not going to find its mark. Jaglum slowly closing and clawing back that center stage, but getting put in the air, trying to find a way down, doing so, but eventually that Peach Bomb are gonna find its mark, and Yin, those hips do not lie.
They really don't. Look at all this pressure that Jukain has been putting on. And that's the thing, when it comes down to it, if you want to beat Kazuya, you need to use those weaknesses and play around those strengths. And lucky for most players, those come in tandem. Jaglum playing a character that's a lot slower that wants to get close in. And so you play right outside of that burst range while threatening options like that down tilt, that turn up that Jukain is utilizing. All of a sudden, it gets a lot more horrifying to play Kazuya, at least within neutral.
And we're seeing, right, Jukain make great use of Kazuya's weakness in the air between, whether it's you know, getting hit by electric in the air, which makes it harder for these combos because it's very easy to avoid that sweet spot of Nair, relatively speaking, as well as whiff punish these up airs. It comes out very fast, but it does have a little bit of end lag there at the end where you can float and find your way back in, but it might not matter if you're going to lose your stock. Great DI from Jukain, though, managing to survive that mix-up, whether you up B one way or the other, but not going to survive the second one. Jukain nodded off that first stock, then they're kind of bowing the head at the second one, getting a little bit frustrated, but gonna manage to bring it back, keep it together, close it out, and keep this game even.
And that is the one thing, when you are fighting a character like Kazuya, you need to keep your mental in the game. And notice this, Jukain immediately pulling it back in, you know? Might get frustrated at the first turn right there, but then just reeling it back in. Like, all right, I could be mad when I'm dead. Now, once I'm in play, I gotta clutch this out.
Oh no! The laser gonna snipe it out, and Jaglum, Ziglet gonna take it 2-0. Jukain did a fantastic job catching on to the fact that if he found a way out of one of those Kazuya combos, Jaglum would immediately try and swing on the fall on that landing option immediately afterwards. Got a lot of punishes and reversals, but at the end of the day, just kind of couldn't find enough explosive openings to deal with what really is the most explosive character in Ultimate with Kazuya Mishima. It doesn't matter whether you've got royal money because this man's got a capitalist empire backing him up.
And look at this right here. That pressure that he just emits by being up in your bubble, the Ferbs text. I mean, when it came down to it, Jaglum just understood his character. And there were a couple of moments where Jukain just, you know, lost those stocks mad early. That is the fear of Peach. Is there are a lot of things that Kazuya wants to kill you off the top, and where you're so floaty, so light, you are going to die bad early.
Yep, and I want to actually talk that first replay, right, wasn't actually a Ferbs tech. He got put at the interior edge, very corner of platform. And what that is if you DI out, you land on platform and you can get a Ferbs tech. But if they DI in, they'll actually miss the platform, and a Ferbs tech, you're going to actually get punished for. So what Jaglum did instead, what Ziglet did was so smart. He delayed. He didn't press a button, reacted to that DI out, and then threw a side B saying, hey, at this point, it's going to cover every tech option. And it was just a brilliant little tiny mix-up to cover that corner case of, as you mentioned, right, the Ferbs tech, which is what you normally see there, not actually being true at that very specific spacing.
And that's the thing. When you're playing a character with such high-tech intensity as Kazuya, it becomes so much more important to be able to understand the different aspects to that combo game. How do these platforms affect your play, and how should you be positioning and changing it up? We even saw it in the last stock. We're like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to be able to land this Ferbs tech off of this electric. I could just go for the back air and I can find that edge guard, and then catching them with that snipe to finish that out. Absolutely beautifully done by